Joe Ajaero, president of the Nigerian Labour Congress, has criticized the court order stopping the disbursement of financial allocations to Rivers State. Ajaero spoke on Friday at a meeting with NLC members in Port Harcourt, the Rivers State capital. Ajaero said workers in Rivers State must receive their salaries promptly, adding that the organized labor will oppose any delay. He said, Rivers is among the states where workers collect their salaries as and when due. Anything that will make their salaries delayed for a day, we will all jointly fight it. We have heard the cry of our state council on this issue, and as a responsible organization, we will stand with them. Recall that in December 2023, Fubara presented an 800 billion naira budget estimate to the Edisonehie faction of the House of Assembly. The presentation of the budget, titled Budget of Renewed Hope, Consolidation and Continuity, took place at the Government House. In July, the Rivers House of Assembly and Amehule, the Speaker, instituted a suit marked FHC/ABJ/CS/984/24 against the CBN and 9 others, asking the court to stop the CBN, commercial banks, and the Attorney General of the Federation from honoring any financial instruction from Governor Fubara. In October, a federal high court in Abuja restrained the Central Bank of Nigeria from further releasing financial allocations to the Rivers State government. The court held that monies from the Federation account should not be released to the state pending the passage of a Lawful Appropriation Act by a validly constituted House of Assembly. Justice Joyce Abdul Malik, the presiding judge, issued the verdict following a suit filed by the Rivers State House of Assembly led by Martins Amehule. Abdul Malik held that Similaye Fubara, governor of Rivers State, was wrong to have presented the state's 2024 appropriation bill to a 4-member assembly that was not properly constituted. Fubara has since appealed the court judgment. Ugochukwu, what do you make of the story?
I want to thank ATN, the ATN newsroom, for a detailed analysis of this of the impasse which Ajaero is meddling into or reacting to. I think I want to say that Ajaero, as the president of NLC, I don't know if he's a lawyer too, but NLC as an organized professional body in Nigeria should have their legal team. If Ajaero is not properly schooled of what he's meddling into in Rivers State, he should understand that there is a progression. There is a place that this particular issue that is now talking about the stoppage of allocation to the Rivers State government is coming from. It is not a case that started from nowhere. So Ajaero should not farm the embers of sentiment and bias. Ajaero should not constitute himself as the law or the constitution of the country. If he's not properly briefed, he should go and get all the litigations and all the court judgments that have been turned out as regards to this appropriation bill presentation in Rivers State. If he does that, Ajaero will come to the conclusion that even coming openly to speak about it is shooting himself on the foot. Ajaero has lost his voice. I don't know any of the negotiations or any of the welfare package Ajaero has presented on behalf of the Nigerian Labour Congress that have seen the light of the day. Ajaero has been known for someone who is always found wanting when you needed him most. And the humiliation he suffered in Imo State helped in really making him a toothless bulldog. And Ajaero, as far as I'm concerned, have not been able to be that, galvanizing and that pragmatic leader that NLC in Nigeria, with the current economic situation we have and with the current political climate we have in Nigeria, that can, make a meaningful input in the lives of an average Nigerian worker, nay, Nigerian citizens as a whole. So Ajaero should just not embarrass himself further, because for anybody to talk about the impasse in Rivers State, I want to advise that the person should be properly schooled. The person should understand the tenets, should understand the root cause of the problem, and for the learned courts and judges to be, to have made pronouncements. And let me also inform Ajaero and Nigerians listening that these cases go from the lower court to the senior courts. And assuming, not considering that people have been accusing, there will be counter accusations of buying over of judges and all that. If that happens within the lower courts, what about in the appeal courts? Those learned justices that sit and vote, because it is not only turning out that particular litigation, there will be a vote to now get the superior argument or the superior voice that will now be the written judgment as it stands in Rivers State. I'm talking about when those cases get to the appeal court and the three-man panel will sit, there's always a vote to either agree or not. So when he talk about delaying of the salaries of workers in Rivers State, has he also asked himself where all those things are coming from? The Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration and the Nigerian Justice Minister in the person of Fabumi, they are not being intimidated. I like their disposition as this case in Rivers State is going on. Has Ajaero also gone to INEC to ask where INEC has stayed aloof? INEC as an institution who even all these litigations concerning the Rivers State House Assembly is under their purview, have stayed neutral and they are following the lines and the letters of the law. So Ajaero, I want to advise NLC, both in Rivers State and in National, to maintain the posture that INEC has assumed, to maintain the posture that Ahmed Bola Tinubu, after the first intervention he made and it failed, has assumed, to maintain the posture of the Attorney General and Minister of Justice in Nigeria has taken, so that let the litigations go through the whole hog, and after that, the final judgment will be the pace setter. And lest I forget, Ajaero should also know that the laws do not look at faces. There was last month, around ending of October, before the last judgment that restrained CBN from releasing funds to Rivers State government. You know that there was a sinister motive and notion from one militant group in Rivers State that called themselves the Niger Delta Development whatever, that threatened the existentiality of Nigeria, that threatened the economic strength of Nigeria, that if any court in Nigeria restrains the FARC allocation from coming to Rivers State, and also if any court restrains CBN from releasing funds to Rivers State, that they are going to bomb oil installations. It was laughable. After that particular threat, the next 2 days, the Federal High Court in Abuja gave out their judgment. Until date, nothing has happened. So Ajaero should not allow himself to be ridiculed, should not allow himself to be, to be partisan in this particular case, because any form of intimidation, which is what I'm seeing now, that the Rivers State government is now using those institutions of national interest those CSOs, pressure groups, and NGOs to intimidate the Nigerian judges, to preempt the outcome of the judgment from the Supreme Court, which should not happen. And I thank God for the person of Abed Bola Tinubu. I thank God for the person of Fabemi, because the judges have stood firm. Those who have delivered judgment have stood firm, and they are looking at it from the letters of the law and the Constitution.
All right, fine.
So, Laurentia, if the Nigerian courts allow themselves to be intimidated in trying to assuage the rightful letters of the Constitution, it will not augur well for the Nigerian state. Right. But I want Ajaero to understand that the law courts are independent, the Nigerian judiciary are independent, and we have one of the best brains when it comes to turning out those statements and law court orders in Nigeria. Let them allow this to go through the whole hog, and whoever wins at the end of the day takes preeminence.
Now, Gochugu, quick question. One would say that the NLC is saddled with the responsibility of workers' welfare.
Yes.
And the concern of the NLC in this instance is the welfare of the workers. Right. Now, this impasse between the executive and the legislature in Rivers State, at the end of the day, you know, it appears that the workers in Rivers State, what one will call collateral damage. It's going to suffer collateral damage in this whole thing. Now, NLC, saddled with the responsibility of protecting the workers, has come out to say that if this entire crisis should affect Rivers State workers by one day, we will not stand for it. We will fight it. Now, the question would be, what exactly will NLC be fighting? First question, because you were speaking from the angle of, you are decrying Ajaero's stand,
yes,
in this whole thing. But then one would say that Ajaero has the locus to have a say in this, because this has to do with workers' welfare. And he is the national president of NLC. That's on one hand. Number two, looking at Ajaero's statement that he will fight any attempts to delay workers' salary by one day. The question would be, who will Ajaero fight? The government in this instance, or the Rivers State governor?
You have really preempted me, Laurentia. Ajaero should channel his fight or his bullets to the governor of Rivers State, in the person of Siminalayi Fubara, because Siminalayi Fubara, if he is not being schooled properly about the presentation of what the Constitution says about the sitting and what forms a quorum in the state legislature, and maybe Ajaero should also help him, you know, because what this issue about appropriation is a very fundamental issue, in the sense that an appropriation presentation or the lifetime of an appropriation goes to, you know, take care of the yearly activities in the governmental circle, which is where the workers in Rivers State come in. So who is to be blamed in this case when a governor has not done the right thing? How was the ministries and their expenditures? Who has approved it? Who saw what was budgeted, what was estimated, and who sat? Where are the committees in the House of Assembly that sat and look at the presentation being made by those ministries that Ajaero is now talking about? So if from that Benicio, the due process have not been followed, it's not channeling it to the law court or to the judges. Ajaero should be the person who should be talking to the governor that you did not do the needful. Because having failed to plan, you have planned to fail. Having failed to follow the due process in talking to the commissioners and the PAMSECs, and they make their budget plans and present it for the governor to now take it to the House of Assembly for appraisal, then where how is the salary of the River State workers being captured? Ajaero should be asking the governor, where are you drawing the money to pay the workers in River State? Hence, you have not done the proper thing that the constitution and the law says. So the governor of River State and the River State government are the people that have flagrantly disobeyed the constitution and the laid down tenets of the running of the affairs of a government. A government that has 3 tiers. A government that have parastatals and ministries under their purview. So where have you drawn the money to be paying them? Is it from your personal pocket? Is it that you have become a Father Christmas? Is it that all those monies that you are turning out? Remember, lest I forget, when the local governments in River State were shut down, the governor said that they can operate from anywhere and their salaries are no problem. He was paying them from his pocket, and he has their paying bank statements. So how did those people receive their own money? If Ajaero should have been pleading that what will be happening is that the statutory allocations that are meant for the payment of salaries in River State, let the body that is assigned to disburse the FAC look at it and get the monies that are accruable to the River State workers, whether it's 1 billion, whether it's 6 billion, and then pay directly to them, but stifle the River State government of their own funds. That is the only plea that will make sense to me if Ajaero have told that line. That is the only plea that a responsible leader will be pleading. A mother, if there is a fight in a family and the father goes agog, he say, hey, starve me of funds, but look at your children. That is a responsible mother who is pleading, and when somebody, a third party, hears it, the person will be touched to talk to the father and, hey, look, this woman, yes, you people are having issue, but what about the children? So that if the children, the father will say, okay, even we hear in cases of divorce, the court will say the responsibility the onus lies on the father to take care of the children, because there are some amount of money you will give for the welfare of your children monthly. So if Ajaero has come through that way, then I will say there is a sense to what he's saying, which will say, okay, the federal government has a mother, temper justice with mercy. These people have been caught on the crossfire. They are the workers in River State, because if there is an incident, a shootout between the Nigerian security agencies and the hoodlums, and anybody that dies that is caught within that time, he said that the person is caught on the crossfire. In this instance, Ajaero and the NLC leadership and those ones in River State should be begging Ajaero and liaising with him to speak to the conscience of the President and Minister of Finance and the Attorney General of the Federation. Look at what is going on in River State. Our children and our families are involved. How do we remove them from this mix? You look at how much is their salary within the month. How can we get it out and make sure that those people do not suffer for what they don't know? Because what is going on in River State is a political fight. Right. Those who are discharging their duties, because you owe workers who have discharged their duty diligently to pay them at the end of the month, because they deserve their wages. Right. So when this is done, I will say that yes, Ajaero is towing the line of a father. But from his statement, his floating has become biased, has become sentimental, which the Nigerian Constitution does not recognize, because the woman that is holding the knife and the weighing balance is not seeing anybody. Right. At the end of the day, if Ajaero and the River State NLC chapter do not do the needful in trying to bring out the workers in River State, they will suffer the same fate. Because you remember when the allocations of Lagos State local government were seized, these were the crux of the matter. Okay. So when you are saying that you should temper justice with mercy, you have to bring out what that Messi will be looking at.
All right. If I knew you've said a lot of things, but if I may pick out some of the things you've said. One, you accused the River State governor of hiding behind CSOs and pressure groups like NLC to want
and some militant groups
to want to preempt the outcome of the judgment
and the pressure the judges,
the judiciary. That's on one hand.
Yes.
Now, secondly, you also said that Ajaero should have been making a case to the federal government for the welfare of workers that are under his purview, from the angle of how do we remove workers from this entire political saga.
Yes.
How do we do it, and workers will not be on the receiving end of this. So you were of the opinion that Ajaero should have been, imploring the federal government and the Minister of Finance
and the Minister of the Attorney General.
Okay, to pay workers directly.
Yes.
And probably still go ahead with whatever it is that is going on in River State, and but workers
should not be caught in the crossfire
directly. They should not be caught in the crossfire.
Yes.
That way, one could say that Ajaero is being a father to the workers and not taking part in politics. So you are accusing Ajaero of being political by his statement. You're accusing him of taking sides.
He has already taken sides.
NLC,
which he represents,
with the government of River State, and then on the other hand, preempting the outcome of the Supreme Court. If I got you right.
Of course, yes, you are right.
Saying. Now, going by the way this whole thing is going, there are different litigations in court, and then also moving forward, everybody is awaiting the Supreme Court judgment, and it appears that the fate of either of these state actors right now
is hanging in the balance,
and is predicated their survival or they are not surviving is predicated on the Supreme Court judgment. And having seen the role that NLC is playing right now, according to you, you have accused NLC of politicking, meddling in River State's politics. And how do you see this playing out if this judgment is given, and at the end of the month, at the end of the day, first of all, this Supreme Court Attorney General of the Federation, the Minister of Finance, if at the end of the day they go ahead to withhold these allocations, that's on one hand. However, the governor also said that payment of salaries, that this court judgment will not stop payment of salaries. Very important point. He said it will not stop the payment of salaries.
He did it during the blockage of the local government.
But he said, after this court judgment
he said it,
that it will not affect payment of salaries. The internally generated revenue in River State should be able to carry salaries, worker salaries.
No, the internally generated revenue have been mortgaged.
Hold on. So I don't lose my train of thought.
Okay.
Now, when you look at these things critically, and NLC has come out to say that if any attempt to delay worker salary by 1 month, by a day, they will come out to fight. Won't this preempt the governor to now say, okay, come up with reasons why worker salaries cannot be paid, and then, definitely knowing that NLC would want to fight, probably call a strike, and then how do you see this playing out? Because, this is throwing crumbs, and it's like a bait, if I would say that.
Yes.
That statement is like a bait that the governor can build upon and then refuse to pay salaries, knowing that NLC will come out to fight.
Let me start from the end, which I envisage. A government is a continuum, and this political impasse and the litigations at the law courts is not meant to, is not targeted at anyone. It is not meant to subjugate or stifle the River State workers or the citizens of River State.
Right.
Rather, what the litigants, both the governor's camp and the Martin Samuel camp are doing is let the truth be laid bare. Let us know who is right or wrong. Let us know the true path we have to follow according to the Nigerian constitution and the tenets of the law. So neither of the parties are wrong in either challenging for or against. This is where I want it to. So it is not a case that at the end of the day, either side that won is the River State people that have won. Because it's the River State people that have won. Because when the River State people, when those litigations are led bare, it's a win-win situation for both sides. Everybody will now know their left and their right. So I want to make that clear. So it is not the governor is crying as if somebody want to stifle him, or somebody is now using him to now deny the Rivers people what is due to them. That is a no. Martin Samehule is not going there to say that he is right, but let the right thing, according to the letters of the law, be done. So in either way that you see it, it is a win-win situation for both Rivers people and the Rivers workers. Right. Again, on the question you asked, NLC president, you forgot to mention that as my bullet point, that Ajaero should go and get all these litigations and school himself and know where he will speak.
Right.
And know where the letters of the law, who has not followed the constitutional laid down tenets, for him to now know where to lay his blame. Then when you're talking about the River State workers not to be paid, if the River State workers are not paid, it will be a momentary time, because this case has also gone to the Supreme Court. It will not be more than 2 months. We will see to it. And if the Supreme Court says that the appropriation bill should be presented, it's still a win-win situation for the Rivers people. If they say that the one that have been presented is Uhuru, it is still a win-win situation for Rivers people. I don't know if you're getting what I'm saying. So the Supreme Court will not say, when the appropriation bill is not presented, there is no more administrative or financial lifetime that will take place in River State. If they say the one that the governor presented to Edison here, before 4 House members of Assembly, is the rightful position of the law, then who loses and who wins? The people, the Rivers people that have been paid will not be asked to refund the money. Even if the Martin Samehule group takes the day, they will not record those 8 months that the Rivers workers have been paid. It's still a win-win situation. But let us know the true nature of what the Constitution is saying. Then when you talk about the governor paying with IGR, or the statement he made 2 Sundays ago, that, immediately after the court judgment. See, he made that statement because he just want to play to the gallery, because he knew that before that court judgment comes, the FAC allocation distribution for October or November has been done. He was just playing to the gallery. Let them not be deceived. If they are going ahead with that particular, the implementation will start from this November, and you will hear the cry. But you're talking about IGR. The IGR, the governor has mortgaged it in the Transcribary Road, because you saw it is 250-something billion, and the governor said it that he has already mortgaged that road and those bridges with the IGR. So the IGR is not, the governor cannot find money from the IGR to go and pay workers. So the governor is shooting himself on the foot, and let him know that all those things he's playing to the gallery is an impeachable offense. And the governor, as I have said, my final submission is this: let the governor Fubara and his handlers continue to tie themselves with the rope that they might not be able to lose, Laurentia.
All right.